St. Joan of Arc has captivated popular imagination for centuries, appearing in myriad works of fiction ranging from Shakespearean drama to a Mark Twain novel, and even a feature film starring Ingrid Bergman. Yet who was this legendary Maid of Orleans, who would go from peasant girl to war hero, heretic to beloved saint, and who has become one of the best-known figures of medieval Europe? Seen here in a posthumous portrait from the late 15th century, Joan of Arc was born around 1412 in the French town of Domremy during the 100 Years' War between England and France that had left the French kingdom in a weakened and perilous position. The daughter of pious peasants, Joan grew up illiterate, but was schooled in Catholic prayer and very much connected to her faith from a young age. When she was 13, Joan began to experience divine voices and visions, specifically of St. Margaret, St. Catherine, and the Archangel Michael, who gave her a saintly mandate to defend France and restore the power of the French monarchy. It was not until the age of 16 that Joan demanded to see the French crown prince, the future Charles VII, convinced that she was under divine command to deliver France for the English and bring the rightful king, Charles, to the throne. After accurately prophesying the outcomes of several French battles, Joan was granted an audience with Charles at the royal court at Chinon. Charles disguised his true identity in order to test her claims of sanctity and divine authority, but, declaring she was guided by the saints, Joan immediately recognized him. After a council of theologians had verified her piety and faith, and her virgin status was confirmed, Charles entrusted Joan to lead his forces during the siege of Orleans in a desperate bid for his kingdom. In battle, Joan donned a full set of armor for her protection, along with a banner and sword. Under her direction, the French retook the city, a decisive victory that earned Joan the moniker the Maid of Orleans. This victory facilitated the coronation of her patron, Charles VII, in 1429, and sparked his attempt to recapture Paris and regain control of the French lands. The teenage Joan was lauded as a spiritual and military leader, boosting French morale in their campaign against the English. Yet in 1430, Joan was captured in battle and imprisoned in the city of Rennes, the capital of English-occupied France. Joan was seen as suspect by the English-controlled authorities, not only for her professed direct access to the divine, but also for her breach of conventional gender norms due to her masculine dress and role as a military commander. Most importantly, her saintly visions, which had become a rallying point for the French nationalist spirit, were seen as particularly dangerous to the pro-English court, as it suggested that the French were aided by God, adding a religious dimension to the bitter political dispute. As such, Joan's visions were denounced as sorcery, and she was tried for heresy in a semi-secret ecclesiastical proceeding of questionable legality that was marred by secular interference. She was convicted despite her insistence that all she had done at God's command, and was burned at the stake on May 30th, 1431, at the age of 19. Joan's ashes were thrown into the Seine to avoid any chance that they would be collected as relics for veneration by her supporters. 25 years after Joan's execution, a papal investigation, sparked in part by a plea by Joan's own mother, overturned her conviction and declared her to be a true martyr of the Church. Joan would go on to become a symbol of 16th century Catholic League in their fight against the Protestants, as well as an emblem of French nationalism and one of the country's patron saints. She was canonized in 1920, cementing her importance in both the Catholic faith and European history, as well as her status as a cultural icon. While in many ways, Joan of Arc's story highlights the perils facing women who claim political or spiritual authority in this period, her tale also showcases how religion affected all facets of medieval life, from that of humble farmers to members of the royal court. Joan also represents the power of religious conviction in the medieval Europe and the devout belief in the cult of the saints and the power of the divine, which can transform anyone into a religious figure worthy of veneration, even an illiterate peasant girl. Joan of Arc embodies the passion of medieval devotion and serves as a powerful figure for the medieval church, a legacy which lives on in her image today.